The sleek black SUV glided smoothly down a quiet suburban road, its engine a whisper in the still night air. Inside, Monica Hayes, a 40-year-old black woman with an air of quiet authority, leaned back in her seat, savoring the calm after a grueling day. As the director of the FBI, Vanessa wielded one of the most powerful law enforcement positions in the country. But tonight, she wasn't focused on counterterrorism threats, espionage cases, or high-profile criminal investigations. Tonight, she just wanted to get home, enjoy a quiet dinner, and lose herself in a book. The road ahead stretched empty, except for a handful of cars. Her headlights cut through the darkness, their glow illuminating the asphalt beneath her. The rhythmic hum of the tires on the road was almost hypnotic, a soothing backdrop to the stillness of the moment. Then, out of nowhere, red and blue lights erupted in her rearview mirror, the shrill wail of a siren splitting the night. Vanessa's brow furrowed. She knew she hadn't been speeding. She had followed every traffic law meticulously, as she always did. With a sigh, she signaled and pulled to the side of the road, bringing the SUV to a smooth stop. She rolled down her window and waited, her fingers drumming lightly on the steering wheel. A tall, white police officer in his early 30s approached her vehicle. His uniform was immaculate, his badge gleaming under the streetlights. The name tag on his chest read Ethan Cole. His stride was confident, almost aggressive, and his expression carried a mixture of irritation and suspicion. "You were stopped for security reasons," he said flatly, his voice devoid of any courtesy. Vanessa kept her expression neutral, though a wave of irritation prickled under her skin. "Security reasons?" she asked, her tone measured. "Is there a problem with me or my vehicle?" Officer Thompson didn't answer directly. Instead, he barked, "Registration and license." Vanessa exhaled slowly and retrieved the requested documents from her glove compartment. She handed them over, watching as he barely glanced at them before turning on his heel and heading back to his patrol car. She sat in silence, her thoughts racing. This wasn't the first time she had been unfairly scrutinized because of her skin color. Despite her rank and accomplishments, moments like these still carried a sting. Even now, when she had reached the highest echelons of law enforcement, she wasn't immune to the biases that plagued the system. After several minutes, Thompson returned, the documents loose in his grip. "I need you to show me your ID," he demanded, his tone sharper now. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. "My car registration and driver's license are valid. I've done nothing wrong. Why do you need my ID?" A smirk flickered across Thompson's lips. "You have a suspicious attitude," he said, his gaze sweeping over her simple yet elegant attire. "A car like this, someone like you, doesn't add up." Vanessa's grip on the steering wheel tightened. She took a calming breath before responding. "Suspicious attitude? What exactly are you basing that on?" Thompson shrugged dismissively. "Nothing special, but I'm in charge here. If you don't hand over your ID, I have every right to take you to the station." Vanessa's pulse quickened, but she remained composed. "Officer, your request is illegal. I've provided all the necessary documents required by law. Unless you have a valid reason, I won't present additional identification." Thompson's smirk faded, replaced by something darker. "Don't tell me how to do my job, ma'am. People like you shouldn't challenge authority." Vanessa froze for a fraction of a second. The insult was blatant. Slowly, she met his gaze. "I'm not challenging your authority. I'm asking you to exercise it properly. What you're doing right now is an abuse of power, and it could get you into serious trouble." Thompson's eyes narrowed. "Trouble?" He leaned closer, his breath hot with contempt. "You don't scare me. Who do you think you are to talk to me like that?" Vanessa remained unwavering. "Someone who knows the law better than you do." The situation was escalating rapidly. Thompson's hostility was palpable as he took a step closer, his hand drifting to his holstered gun. "I'll tell you one more time. Show me your ID, or I'll have no choice but to detain you." Vanessa took a slow, deliberate breath. "Officer Thompson," she began, her voice steady, "I've provided all legally required documents. Your demand for my ID is not only unnecessary, it's unlawful. If you insist on continuing this, you will be held accountable." Thompson's face darkened. The idea of being challenged was intolerable to him. Accountable, he scoffed. You've got some nerve. You think you're above the rules, don't you? Vanessa's jaw tightened. I don't think I'm above the rules. I know the rules. And right now, you're breaking them. Thompson ran a hand over his belt, his fingers hovering near his gun, a deliberate show of power. You're walking a thin line here, lady, he sneered. I don't have time to argue with someone like you. If you don't cooperate, I won't hesitate to use force. Before Vanessa could respond, another vehicle pulled up. Sheriff Mark Delgado, a Latino man with years of experience, stepped out, his eyes narrowing at the scene before him. What's going on here, Thompson? Delgado asked, his voice edged with authority. Thompson stiffened. Sir, this woman refused to. Holster your weapon, Thompson. Ramirez interrupted sharply. Right now. Thompson hesitated but obeyed. Ramirez turned to Vanessa. Ma'am, are you all right? Vanessa nodded, her tone measured. I'm fine, Sheriff. But your officer here has conducted an unlawful stop and made repeated threats. Ramirez's jaw tightened as he turned back to Thompson. Do you have any idea who you're speaking to? He asked, his voice a quiet thunder. Thompson faltered. She was acting suspicious. She is Director Vanessa Carter of the FBI, Ramirez stated, his tone icy. And you've just put your entire career in jeopardy. The color drained from Thompson's face as realization struck. Director, he stammered. Vanessa met his stunned gaze. Yes, and what's worse, you didn't just disrespect me. You disrespected your badge, the oath you swore, and the people you serve. Ramirez didn't waste another second. Thompson, return to the station. You are suspended effective immediately, pending an internal investigation. Thompson opened his mouth as if to argue, but closed it again. Without another word, he turned, walking stiffly back to his car. The weight of his actions had finally settled in. Ramirez turned back to Vanessa. Director Hayes, I deeply apologize. This officer's actions do not represent our department. Vanessa nodded. Thank you, Sheriff. But this is about more than me. This is about ensuring no one else endures this kind of treatment. You have my word, Ramirez said firmly. There will be consequences. As Vanessa finally drove home, she knew tonight had been a battle won, but the larger fight against systemic injustice was far from over.